spent 400,000 RMB testing this phone. Well, not exactly. The camera was rented, but the ARRI Alexa Mini LFD itself costs around 400,000 RMB. And after years of seeing crazy phone concepts that never reached the market, it's honestly exciting to see something as wild as the Honor RoboPhone actually entering mass production. Many of you may be wondering how it compares with DJI Pocket or Luna, but there's a more interesting question. Can Honor really bring ARRI's filmmaking experience into a smartphone? Let's find out. Big thanks to my tech partner over in China for providing this footage. I really appreciate the support in making this video happen. Hey everyone, Stella here from techiestreet. If you're into staying updated with the newest gadgets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our latest tech content. Before looking at the footage, let's first understand what makes the Honor RoboPhone so unusual and why its ARRI partnership matters. Its biggest feature is the built-in flip-up gimbal, something we've rarely, if ever, seen inside a smartphone. Think of it as a tiny gimbal camera built into your phone, similar in concept to the DJI Pocket or Luna. Use it like a normal smartphone camera or flip the camera up to activate gimbal mode. When you're done, simply fold it back inside. There's even a manual sliding cover, and the phone asks you to open it before the camera mechanism can rise. When we first saw this design earlier this year, our reaction was basically, has Honor completely lost it? But surprisingly, this wasn't just a concept. Honor is actually selling it, and the refinement is far better than we expected. According to research shared by Wang Ziru, the system can also support head tracking with additional accessories, while its AI agent can handle certain visual recognition tasks. Even the film industry has explored similar ideas, especially because this kind of setup could be incredibly useful for POV shooting. Now, you may not know much about ARRI. Unlike Zeiss, Leica, Hasselblad, and Li Guang that have partnered with Chinese smartphone brands, ARRI is mainly famous for professional cinema cameras used in filmmaking. You might rarely see an ARRI camera in everyday life, but in the film industry, it's a legendary name. ARRI cameras have been used in major productions like Dune, 007, Blade Runner 2049, and 1917. They're also widely used for streaming productions, including HBO, Netflix, Apple TV, Disney, and The Mandalorian. ARRI is also famous for its color science, especially skin tones. Images often look natural straight out of camera, while still giving filmmakers plenty of flexibility during professional color grading. So here's the big question. How can a tiny gimbal phone with a 200-megapixel camera and 1.28-inch main sensor create an image that feels anything like an ARRI cinema camera? Let's look at the actual footage. I'm curious what you think, but personally, the RoboPhone impressed me more than expected. Obviously, it can't match a professional ARRI camera exactly, but once you apply a LUT or manually grade the footage, there's definitely a cinematic feel. By now, you've probably noticed the biggest difference: depth of field. Natural background separation is where ARRI is in another league. The RoboPhone uses a 1.28-inch sensor with an f1.6 aperture and 23mm equivalent focal length. That makes strong natural background blur extremely difficult. A direct comparison with a cinema camera simply isn't fair. That's why I think the next generation should use a larger sensor and wider aperture. Honor could also develop advanced computational depth of field, similar to iPhone's cinematic mode. Combine that with better tonal processing, and we could finally get something that feels like an ARRI camera built for a new generation. There are other differences too, and skin tone is one of the most noticeable. ARRI produces that naturally pleasing cinematic look. Honor can sometimes make skin tones appear slightly rosier. And because the smartphone sensor is still physically limited, its processing can introduce some sharpening. It isn't obvious unless you look closely, but it's there. Interestingly, that sharpening becomes much less noticeable in log mode. So, does the Honor and ARRI collaboration actually work? I'd say yes, especially because of the built-in gimbal. Whatever you're shooting, the stabilization is incredibly useful. It keeps footage steady while maintaining consistent color. It's definitely an unusual approach to smartphone photography and video, but that's exactly what makes the RoboPhone so interesting. That said, the Honor RoboPhone definitely has some weaknesses. And honestly, that's expected. This is a completely new smartphone category, and it's only first generation, so there's plenty of room to improve. First, the gimbal cover feels loose and slippery. Pull the phone from your pocket, and you might accidentally remove it. At first, I thought it was a manufacturing issue, but it turns out Honor designed it that way so the cover can be cleaned and eventually replaced with different filters. And yes, Honor says ND and polarizing filters are already being developed. Then there's the weight. Don't let the compact 6.3-inch screen fool you. This phone is thick and heavy, weighing 249 grams. But considering it packs a gimbal and a huge 7,000 mAh battery, the weight starts to make sense. Heat is another issue. The RoboPhone gets noticeably warmer than a normal smartphone. That's understandable when you have 3 cameras, a 3-axis stabilization system, and the chipset packed into the upper section. And with Hangzhou temperatures approaching 40 degrees Celsius, things can get seriously hot. Thankfully, Honor later sent us a magnetic cooling accessory with vents aimed directly at the gimbal. It helps lower the temperature, although honestly, we wish we had it before filming. Now let's talk software, because Honor has clearly put a lot of effort here. The entire video interface has been redesigned, including a dedicated ARRI-style camera interface. It's much simpler than a professional ARRI camera, but there are still plenty of controls, so expect a learning curve. Honor even placed the shutter button next to the joystick. And here's the funny part. The first time I used it, I assumed the center button was the shutter. I pressed it, and the gimbal moved instead. You know that awkward moment when your brain just gets it completely wrong? Yeah, exactly. Once you get used to it though, the gimbal camera is impressively well developed. ARRI's color science and branding give the phone a much more professional video experience. And the phone itself feels very well built. Even beyond the software, the hardware experience is excellent. So where does that leave us? The Honor RoboPhone is one of the craziest smartphone ideas we've seen actually reach mass production. Its built-in gimbal is the star, while the ARRI collaboration makes the camera experience even more unique. It's definitely not perfect. There are plenty of small things Honor needs to improve, and this phone certainly isn't for everyone. But honestly, Honor surprised us. And there's one more interesting detail. Honor told us the upcoming Magic 9 series will also feature a full set of ARRI imaging technologies, plus even more features. So if you want that ARRI-style look but think the RoboPhone's built-in gimbal is too extreme, waiting for the Magic 9 series could be the smarter move. Finally, here's how I really feel about this phone. The RoboPhone brings something genuinely different to an increasingly predictable smartphone market. Whatever its sales numbers become, Honor deserves credit for turning such a crazy concept into a real product. Because smartphone design has become repetitive. People question how thin the iPhone Air really needs to be. Vivo's X200 Ultra made some specification compromises and switched to a 35mm main camera focal length, making some wonder if Vivo was basically turning the phone into a camera. Then Xiaomi added a flashy rear display, which also received plenty of criticism. So when we first heard about the RoboPhone, we wondered, would people actually accept something this crazy? But smartphones used to be much more adventurous. Pop-up cameras, modular phones, and unusual designs may have disappeared, but they also made smartphones feel exciting. That's why I actually welcome the RoboPhone. Honor didn't just announce a wild concept and forget about it. They built it, refined it, and put it into production. The base Honor RoboPhone starts at 9,999 yuan in China, around 1,097 pounds, or roughly $1,483. And that's everything for this video. What other crazy and unconventional products should we cover next? Drop your ideas in the comments. We'd love to hear them.